Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new KOMPAK Physique Collective collaboration. Me and Holly have been chatting this weekend, and we thought, you know what? We need to put our brains together because Holly is obviously a KOMPAK athlete. She's a Physique Collective coach, bikini competitor, exercise mechanics. I could go on. But our knowledge, both our knowledge in this sport, we thought, why not bring this together and give some interesting perspective, interesting breakdowns, and start with the weekend that has just happened, which was the two bros, Ben Weider. So, hey, babes, I know we've already said hello, but matching monsters, can we just take a moment?
Snap.
This is actually the one you bought me.
Oh, is it? Oh, you're welcome.
So, I need to firstly do a shout out to Holly because I genuinely thought she wasn't going to make it this weekend. Like, in my head, so I obviously competed at the weekend. Like in my head, when you messaged me saying the trains were cancelled, I thought it's fine, and I do want to. I thought I'm not going to put that pressure on someone either because I totally understood. But yeah, basically, Holly ended up getting how many public transports was it?
So I was meant to just get one train and the Elizabeth line, which is absolutely fine. Then the night before I checked the trains and they had been cancelled. So over hell and high water, I think it was two trains, one bus, a replacement bus, and a taxi to get to Jasmin. So you can't say I don't value our friendship because I was there. So I managed to get there. I actually got there in good time as well. So and it was worth it though, because it was such a good day. The sun was shining. It was like a lovely show day. Like everyone from the Physique Collective was there to support Jazz and Corey, obviously. And it was just overall very, very enjoyable day. So I'm glad I came in the end. And obviously to see your successes in person and to do all your pre-stage necessities and essentials that we need to do. It was definitely worth the trip.
So let's go into that. I'm going to share my screen, and obviously we won't be talking about my stuff every single time because
This is the Jasmin show. It's all about Jasmin.
No, I'm not gonna. I love Ashley K, but I'm doing Ashley K this year. Jeez, oh no. So I am hopefully, if I can work this damn computer. How do I open system preferences? Okay, we're back because I didn't know how to figure out my sharing screen. So Holly is going to do it now.
Same today, as usual.
So me and Holly have this kind of like a ritual now. It's turned into a ritual where we go into a disabled toilet and we figure out what I'm doing show day wise, basically. It works.
In tradition, she will look at me and she'll say, "It's time," and I'll be like, "Okay, it's time. Let's go." And it happens. It's going down.
So the reason that I do this, right? And obviously, I know I'm very aware that I have got a bit of an advantage because I can take so many different things with me. But I find when there's so much so many things can change. And I know me as a person, if I'll have an idea in my head and then I'll change it later on. So let's go into firstly what I call the finer details. Let's go into the decisions that I made. Me and Holly made going into this Ben Weider, why I did it, why I did it the way I did it. So the first thing was the bikini suit color. Now we all know black is risky, and I knew that was going to be a thing. But when I looked at the background, you can see from the background it's yellow, and let's be honest, yellow is not the best color for any bikini competitor to kind of try and navigate and deal with. And the first thing that came into my head, Holly, was like, oh my God, bumblebee realness. And I just thought, yes, it's just time. It's time to do it. Don't get me wrong. I love the purple on me. But I knew that that day when I looked at yellow, I knew that the black was going to contrast really well. And we all know that I just love black. I think everyone's got the memo now. Did you think I was going to go for black, Holly?
I had an inkling because it was always in the back of your mind. I think the main thing that was stopping you was others' opinions saying, "Oh, you shouldn't wear black on two bros. They don't like it. You should stick to safe colors, and you very much have to, stick to your reds and blues and purples and stuff like that." But I knew that you had it in the back of your head, like I would love to wear it. So I think when you saw that background, you're like, "Okay, now's my chance," and then you were just like, "Feck it, I'll just go for it," which I'm really glad you did because it all pulled through very nicely.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the statistics. I don't know if you can quickly go on to KOMPAK's Instagram, Holly. But when you look at the statistics of, for example, the Bikini Olympia, most of the time that will, oh, sorry, babe, the Instagram. We all know that will kind of, that's a good gauge. Those analytics we do is a good gauge, but it should not be the thing that is like, right, I'm gonna take what the statistics say and 100% run with it. It's the first pinned post on the right hand side. So if you look at the bikini breakdown there, right, black should have been the last thing I would have thought of. If
2%.
Yeah, 2%. I think it was like 1 or 2 people. And I think if you keep scrolling across, you'll start to look at oh sorry, go on the post again, babe, and just scroll on that post itself. So if you look at the bit breakdown, I wore straps. So I'm kind of following that one. If you go again, Holly. Okay, looking at plain diamante. I pretty much like, I wore the shoe fairy goddess this time, so that was a bit of a diamante. Scroll again. Right, straight should have been the last. Black and straight together, if you look at these statistics, should have been the last thing I would have considered. But it's one of those where you take the statistics and you take yourself into consideration. You take, like, for example, the backdrop, and you take everything into consideration and then make your decisions. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm super happy that I went with that. If you go back onto the Instagram of me, Holly, we'll quickly talk about jewelry. So Holly, talk to us about what the kind of conversations we were having in relation to bracelets, because I thought your input on it was very, very interesting.
So when Jazz approached me and we made our way to the bathroom, she had already decided on the bikini color and the shoes. So they were kind of the foundations that we used to build up the entire look itself. And Jasmin did have one of the chunkier bracelets that's been very kind of common seeing, and like on the Olympia and in America, they've been wearing kind of chunky bracelets. But she put that on and I instantly just thought, no way, because it was just too much. And as Jazz has mentioned before regarding blue bikinis and like holes and jewelry looking good, I thought the black bikini was so solid and strong that if you combine that with something chunkier, it was just too much. So we kind of played around a little bit and we decided to go for the 2 rows on both hands, just to keep it really simple, because we even tried like a thicker, like a 5 row or a 7 row, and it was just too much. Because when she put on the 2 rows, the 1 row bracelet and had the earrings, it just all flowed, and it was almost like creating this lovely, I called it like a triangle from like her ear to her arm to her waist, like the small connector on her waist. It just came through in a nice little triangle shape, and it just worked. And as soon as she put that whole combination together, I said, yeah, that's the look. We don't need to go any more than that. That's absolutely fine. So it just goes to show, it's like, it's not more is more. It's how everything pulls together, and you're not looking at one piece in isolation saying, I really want to wear that piece, because it's very much with how it flows with the physique and the whole look in general.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I definitely was feeling like my inner Alison Testu, who's like, I always say to her, you can buy more, you can take more stuff on the website. She goes, Jasmin, I like my 2-row bracelets, I like this, I like that. But it's very, very true. Like, and you look at the goddess heels, you can't see it as much there, but when there's a little bit of sparkle on the shoes as well, like, these are the sort of things that, like, me and Holly, after like years of being in this game, this is the thought processes that we go through, and these are the tiny details that we personally believe that people are missing. And it's like, I don't want anything, especially when we went with black, I didn't want anything that was going to be too much or too distracting, because I already knew that the bikini, as Holly mentioned, like the bikini suit that we went for and the shoes I went for and the hair that I went for was already quite bold. My makeup was with Daniel Spencer. We went for a really strong smoky eye. I knew I was going very bold with a lot of different things. So as I say, I love the chunky bracelets. And it's, they do work really well, and that's why I put them on the website this year. But when it got to it, I was like, nah, like, I can't see myself wearing this. So yeah, I would not have changed anything about that look this year.
Yeah. What I meant is that if you can see from like this connector here to this connector here to this bracelet here, it just all flows. It's like a similar width, it's a similar amount, and there's nothing that, for a bikini, you always want to think about is that you shouldn't be drawing your eye to one particular area ever. You should always be thinking about the whole look, because if there is one focus, then that's by definition not a balanced physique and not a balanced look. So you should never have your eye drawn to like one specific piece of jewelry or one specific body part or one specific, you know, if your hair, anything like that. It should be about like the whole look pulling together. And that's, I think, what we did very well here.
It's so true. Like it makes, hopefully these sort of things will make people start to notice like the eye that we have when we look at this. Like, and you mentioned this very, very clearly, like it does affect the physique. Maybe on like a not on the instant, but once you kind of see it, you can't unsee it. And I think when you mentioned about like physique wise, like it does make an impact to how your physique looks on stage. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. And like what you always mention about not having too thick of a piece of jewelry where your hand meets your waist, because that is going to give the illusion of the waist thickening a bit. So you went with something really small so that it didn't detract from your waist, because your waist is a very strong point of yours. So you want to maintain that, because that's something that not a lot of people have, and is very important for the bikini shape as well.
Do you know what? We'll go back. So what you've just said, we'll go back to it in a second. But I think we want to go into a couple of the other amateur. I can't say that word. Amateur competitors. That we want to give a shout out to, who looked insane. So should we go into Becky or should we go into Sophie? I can see both of them up there.
Either. Go to Becky, maybe. She was in your height class, so
insane. I love her.
Yeah, she competed at the regional 2 weeks ago as well, and her physique just stands out. Like I remember myself and Jen were outside by where you go in to get the tan done, and Laura from Get Bronze was taking like check-in photos for her, and me and Jen were just looking at her being like, wow. Like before she even got on stage, I was like, that is an incredible physique. Like she's just so developed, so muscular, so full, so bubbly. Like her shoulders are just absolutely mental.
And you can... that photo at the restaurant.
Oh yeah, look at her arms with all the lads.
It's also worth mentioning.
Oh my god, it's like the size of her head, her delts.
Yeah, I think she should probably remind me saying, I think she's just over 30 and she's got a kid as well. So it shows that like age isn't a number, and just because you're a mum, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it just shows. I think her physique definitely shows
maturity. Yeah, definitely.
100%. I love the blue on her. I know she did blue last year as well. I think blue, she's found her color 100%.
I think that's important for bikini as well. Like it is fun, and I absolutely love it, having like a different color every single time you get on stage. But I think when you start to get to the higher end of the amateur ranks and pushing for that pro card, you need to find your color and stick with it. Like most of the bigger bikini pros, like Ashley and Lauralee and stuff, they find a color and they run with it because it works for them, and they might do variations of a theme, but they'll never go for like a crazy completely new color because they find the one that works for them and their physique.
Yeah, can you find any photos of her close up?
I'm just trying to see, only from last week, I think.
To be fair, go up slightly go where she's got the two-edged swords.
Here.
Show off, I'm not joking. Wait, click on that. So, you can't really see it really well here, but she wears a very, what I love paired with blue is an SDT style crystal. When I talk about blue, I always talk about the importance of touch points, nothing overbearing. And like when she wears I think it's the Lip 108 SDT from my memory, like it's just that little touch point, that a sparkle at the bottom that just complements it so much. She could go for the full dome montage, she could go for plain if she wants to, but I do like the way that she styled her overall look. It's very like striking. And if you even look on like the right hand side of that photo, even here. Also, she hasn't got a bracelet on there. But can you see at the bottom of that photo? She's got the SDT there, the two bracelets as well, striking, straight hair. I think tall and straight hair is like is a vibe. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And like similar to what we were saying, she does have kind of thicker bracelets, but her earrings kind of make up for that because they're not over the top as well. So she's kind of balanced both of them together. And as you said, she's wearing SDT, but they're not DM, so it's not too much, because I think it's so easy when you start competing, be like, I want diamante everything, flashy everything, everything has to be OTT, but it's all about refinement in this level. Like when you're getting closer to like achieving your pro status, you need to be looking at all the minute details and nuances of the look.
It's always worth mentioning as well, like Becky is way more muscular than me, so like when you look at those bracelets, I'm looking at that going, that suits her physique, it looks great. personally, I'm not as muscular as Becky. So like when we put the thicker braces on me, it just kind of like, for me, personally, I felt like it was like swamping me a little bit, where for her, it worked so well.
Yeah, yeah, you have to look at the physique itself. But yeah, that was the check-in that Laura was taking when me and Jen were on the side, and we were just like, oh my God, look at her. Like the development in her delts, like, and me and Jen always kind of look at, like, if you were to draw a straight line from the delts to the glutes, ideally it should be like a perfectly 90-degree. And obviously most people can't achieve that because you have to have such lower body development to achieve that, but she really has that, which is mad. So
Great.
she look at the transformation as well, it's mental.
I think she's going for Sweden. She did Sweden last year, won her height class. So fingers crossed for her in Sweden. I really hope. I do think she will get it.
Yeah, best of luck. No, she absolutely deserves it. I think it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Like, it is definitely a pro-worthy physique for sure.
Okay. So should we go into Sophie as well?
So I was actually talking to Sophie's coach, this guy, he was standing beside me when I was chanting Jasmin on, and he turned to me, he was like, oh, Jasmin looks really good, doesn't she? I was like, yeah, we're all here for it. And I showed him a whole family of all of us chanting. So he had this girl called Sophie, who she looked amazing, to be fair. I don't know if that was from the 10X, but she's very, very developed. I thought it's crazy. Look at her calves as well. They're mental.
See, for me, this is when it's like when you've got blue and you've got a plain heel, it's like not
Yeah,
distracting.
it just works.
See,
Because
for me,
it's quite an intense blue as well. So you want to break that up a bit by having kind of other things that are a bit more understated, like the clear heels. You can see she's not even wearing a bracelet on this side. So she kind of balanced that out there.
see, I was gonna say actually, like for me, I would personally would have switched that bracelet on her. Wait, what I
Yeah,
call waist arm. I would have switched that over.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think she could have done, but I don't even know what earrings she's wearing, but and she went with like slightly thicker connectors than you have as well.
Have you? Because yeah, I remember her from last year in the it was one of the September, I think, sort of shows.
10X Grand Prix, that's a different one,
You
isn't
can
it?
see how much muscle within like not that
Yeah,
long.
see, that's crazy, the difference.
Like from a physique point of view, where would you say that like for her? I don't even know what I can't remember what she looked like from the back.
She has oh yeah, she doesn't have back shot. I think she just has the. See, I would say she's like in that front pose, nearly pushing on wellness from the bottom. Um, but it could also be the way she's posing, because you can see that she's kind of arching so that she's more forward here. Whereas if she stood more upright, she might look a bit more balanced as a bikini girl rather than kind of trying to make her legs more dominant like a wellness girl, if that makes sense.
Yeah, to be fair, I can see what you. I think if she like took a couple of years out, you can see where like obviously she's quite young. I think she hasn't been in the sport for that long either. So you can see like with training age as she came forward, bikini 100%. Like she's there right now, but it's cool when you see people that are quite new into the sport and you can look at the physique and go, wow, like that's what you've done within such a short space of time.
Yeah,
Like
she's mad.
so cool, so
It's
so.
like things like this where playing with posing could make a difference. Like obviously, I don't know who her posing coach is or who does her
It's
posing.
Phoebe Goodwin.
Oh, Phoebe, yeah. So like even like things like, we always talk about neither of us have our foot placed directly to the side, because for us having it slightly kind of more between 10 and 2 gives a more balanced overall shape. So maybe they played with that before and realized, okay, this gives her more balance when she goes completely to the side. Whereas for me, that doesn't work for me.
Her calves are ridiculous.
I know they're like Sam Minshall's calves. She has like crazy calves as well, doesn't she?
It's crazy with like body types and stuff. How much like with calves, you just I think you say this to me, like you either have calves or you just don't, and it doesn't
Yeah.
that you can't get them, but it just takes so much longer.
Yeah, and it's hard as well because if you don't have them and you want to work on them, it's like how important really are they for bikini? Like obviously if you have good calves, it's going to be an advantage, but like if you'd rather prioritize like your volume for the week in training towards glutes and delts that are really going to be judged, maybe that would be more worth it, if you get me. So it's like trying to prioritize body parts based on what needs work, but also what's going to be the most valued on stage and what's going to be judged the heaviest.
Yeah, because you can see with her, like where her back leg is pointed out, like you can see why Phoebe's done that because she's got good calves. She can show it off. Me personally, I have to angle my back leg kind of like a bit more forward, because I have not got a good side calf profile. So I ain't gonna show that off anymore, but it just shows that in terms of like where your physique is in relation to posing. Like Sophie can show off her calf and have her leg a bit more pointed to the side, whereas me, I have to turn it in because I just haven't got that. I'm just 5,000.
I always think about the Alison Testu pose where she's like almost, this is pointing more forward her foot. And what that does for me, and that's actually a pose I do for my PCA side pose, is that because it brings your leg forward a bit, it does make your quad appear a bit bigger. And obviously Sophie doesn't need to do that, because if anything, her quads are like verging on more developed side of bikini. Whereas for others, they may need to tilt that in so that they do have more volume in the back leg, to give it more balanced shape to the bikini pose that they're doing.
I'm interested to see what she does next. I actually don't know what she's doing next, but
she definitely is pro quality. Like, she has an amazing level of muscularity, and the conditioning is just perfect as well.
Her conditioning is mega, like mega.
Because it's funny, because as me and Joe and you were talking about the weekend, like she does really well in UK and probably Europe, but I'd say in America they would think she's too hard. So it's like it's different between the regions, what they kind of go for and what they judge best for bikini.
Sorry, my dog decided to come in as per.
Oh no, hello.
So I think we should go into Miss Marnie.
Yes, the woman of the day. Absolutely. When I was there, because Jazz had just come off stage and I was going to follow Jazz, I said, no, I just need to see who got the pro. And like the tension in the air when everyone was doing their back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then they were like, oh, they're about to call it out. And they mentioned Marnie, and she just collapsed, like, and everyone was just screaming for her, chanting for her, because Marnie is obviously like a big name in the industry. Everyone knows her. She's absolutely lovely. Like, I've been to a posing seminar of hers recently. She's really down to earth, and she has worked so hard for this. And I'm even getting goosebumps just thinking about it now, because I just think there was no one more deserving on the day to get it, because she is such a good role model and reputation of the sport and the bikini category. She eats, sleeps and breathes it 24/7. And I just think she absolutely deserved it, and she looked amazing. So yeah, congratulations, Marnie.
I still remember her from the UK. I've known her for God knows, like UK BFF days. So that's what, 2015 maybe, something bonkers like that. But like, being totally honest, I do think Marnie has kind of been like, for me, I said this to her on Saturday. It was weird. I was chilling with her backstage, and I was like, I really hope today's your day, Marnie. Like, I really hope it is. And she's like, oh, you just don't know. And I was like, I really hope it is. So it's quite funny. But I remember, I do think she has had that underdog.
Yeah.
That's whenever I've thought of Marnie, I've always thought it's the underdog that I don't think people realize if she gets it bang on, she's there. And I think she has at sometimes been underestimated. So it's really cool to see her massively come through. Now, you mentioned previously about jewelry and waist and bits. Now, this just shows that these sort of selections made no difference to her getting her pro card. But for me personally, if you can go in, try and find actually where that black eyes suit is at the back of the video. So insane. I love the plain heel with the red. I think it works so well. Can you see here? Right, stop that. Are you able to stop it? Oh, of course it covers the waist. Bloody hell. Me personally, I would have flipped. Especially when Marnie's quite small and she's quite petite, like she has to make sure that her waist is looking as small as possible and kind of not many distractions. Like I could probably, with like a height, and even with Becky, because we're taller, our waist sometimes will look a little bit smaller. So for me, I would have flipped her bracelets around and I would have put her ring on the other side.
Yeah, I agree.
It made no difference, obviously, guys, to her getting a pro card. But for me personally, if she's going to be going to the pro league, these are the sort of refinements that I would be advising her to do. But I would say with red, the plain heel is perfect. Yeah. Anything else, in my opinion, with that red suit, it just, for me, especially when she's small and petite, it would have just been way too much.
Yeah, as we can say, it's all about, we're talking about nuances here. And if someone has the standout physique, doesn't matter what jewelry they wear, they're probably going to win. But when you're just looking at the tiny details, if there's like very, very similar physiques and someone needs to get that extra edge, these are the things that come into play. It's like the 1% after you've taken care of like the 99%, you know. These are just kind of our opinions. And yeah, I would agree saying that, like, having the thicker bracelet and the ring here, it is quite a lot of volume in one area, if that makes sense. So yeah, to switch them around, I think would brought a little bit more balance. But again, there's not much you can say because the look is stunning. Like, I think it's like her best look she's ever had, like perfect. And obviously her posing was spot on stage. She was enjoying herself. She was like, I just remember when they were doing the overall lineup and she got put into the middle and she just couldn't stop, like the smile, like she just couldn't stop smiling. She was like, oh my God, I think I've got this now. And I think she had that bit of hope then. So when they called her out and they confirmed it, she was just like absolutely delighted. Like, it was just so cool.
If you got a video, actually, if you come out, have you got the video of her doing her presentation? I think it's the top one on top left, but it's not loading. Yeah, mad. In terms of physique for you, Holly, like looking, obviously this is not my forte, this is yours, like going into the pro league, like what would you say is like the things that potentially she needs to look at? Obviously she's got the structure, her balance is there. Like, I'll be very interested to see how she does in pro shows in relation to Europe, in relation to America. I can personally see her really excelling well in America.
Yeah, because in America they love the bubbliness of the physique. Like, if you're going to compare her to like the pros and the Olympians, what was I going to say? Who's the one that won the Olympia this year? I can't even remember her name. Is lost.
Maureen.
I was going to say it's my mum's name. How can I not remember that? Yeah, someone like Maureen, I'd say she'd have a very similar physique too, because they're both smaller, petite girls, and they're not like super hard or super striated. They're just bubbly and round and full. And like what you said that Marnie was mentioning to you at the weekend, that she never really gets flat. Like, she just always is full no matter what, because she just has those genetics. So I would say the shape is there, the structure is there, the genetics are there, probably just a little more size to be competitive among the pro ranks. And obviously depending on where she is, potentially a touch leaner as well. I would say, like, obviously you can't see the midsection, but through the midsection, particularly. But other than that, like, everything is there. It's just probably like a little bit more of everything, I would say. I don't think there's any glaring weaknesses. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's so funny, like me and mine was talking about us, like the way that we have to approach things is so different. Like,
yeah.
And it just shows that, you know, she's on one end of the spectrum with how small she is, and it's like Tom and Jerry bloody hell on stage. But like, you know, as you say, like, she never gets flat. Like, she doesn't have to peak. Like, she does have to peak, but like the changes she makes are very, very different in comparison to me with the changes that like I'm making stuff. But yeah, I totally agree with everything.
Oh, I love that little wave. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was cute.
Have you got anything, if you scroll down from like her regional that she was wearing the blue, she got that at all? Very got. Yeah. See, isn't the difference? Like, she still works blue so well. I think she's wearing the same jewelry.
That's gonna annoy Jazz. That's a pet peeve when people don't do the things up properly.
Anxiety. Yeah, she definitely brought the condition in tighter.
Yeah, she came in much tighter.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what she does, and I love me an underdog. So
I know, yeah, no, I love a good story like that, because I know it's so cool to see those stories of someone doing their first show and then turning pro at their second show and then doing a pro show, and that's amazing. And obviously that's like the outliers of the story, but there are many people like Marnie who are just grinding hard, who are just keep going, keep pushing, and every time they get knocked down, they just brush themselves off, get back up again and keep working towards it. And that's just testament to how hard she's worked and how passionate she is about it, because obviously she came back in, was it 2021 when she did the Arnold's, and she pulled out of prep early. She was disappointed with her physique, and she said, look, I'm not there yet, so why would I keep going when I know I'm not there yet? She took the time off, she invested in an off season, she came back and she reaped the rewards. So it just goes to show that, like, although it may look like everyone is competing year on year on year, it doesn't mean everyone is, and doesn't mean everyone should. if you do still have improvements to make in terms of muscular development, then you need to take that time away. And I know it's very easy, like looking on, you know, Team Atlas or Team Elite Physique and all their YouTubes, and they say that bikini don't need a large off season. But obviously that's going to completely depend on the individual. Like some people only need a 6-month off season. Some people like me, like Jazz, need longer. But there's no rush, you know. As we said, there are people into their 30s, into their 40s that are still competing. So, you know, you don't have to get on stage in like a very short space of time. You do have that time available to you.
Yeah, that's like your timeline is your timeline, and like stop trying to like fast forward it or like reverse, like rewind it. It's just like, just keep with what you're doing 100%.
Yeah, and I was talking to Alex Freshwater at the weekend, because obviously he was going for his pro card at the weekend, he didn't get it, and I said, look, no one asks you, once you get your pro card, no one asks you how many times did it take you, how long did it take you, how old are you. All they say is you're a pro. It doesn't matter how you got it, when you got it, how long it took you, how many times it took you, how many times you failed. Doesn't matter. And like, as I said to him, it just adds to the story, you know. Everyone loves a good story on how you got something and how you achieve something, so it just adds another hurdle to the story that you have to overcome, and you'll be all the more stronger and resilient for it when you do eventually get it.
So true. So true. Love it. Right, should we go quickly into the pro show? It's quite a small pro show actually. It was only like, I think 8 or 9 girls.
Very small. So we have this is the winner, which was there. Do we have?
Yeah, if you keep playing that. So I have to do a bit of a shout out. She's actually bought those Lit 101 DMs were bought from KOMPAK, so bless her heart. Oh wait, where have you gone? You're back. Sorry, my thing decided to come up. But I think green. I don't think I've ever seen her in green actually.
No, it's quite unusual for green. Like Ashley Kay is the main one that wears green kind of at the Olympia level. So there's not that many people that take the risk, but it is lovely bikini. It's really nice shape cut as well at the back.
See, like, this is no discredit to Esther at all, but what I would personally say, and this is just my opinion with the UK Pro Show, condition-wise, would this work in Olympia? I think she would maybe have to soften a little bit or come a little bit fuller.
I would think they would tell her she's too hard, because even like you can see the feathering and striations in her quads while she's walking, and like that, you know, her glutes almost look like stuck on with how detailed and defined they are. You can see this, like the striations in her glutes when she's walking, and that's why they get them to walk, because they want to see that there's no excess fat. They don't want to see a jiggle, but they also don't want to see the lines and definition. So the walking is as much to see, are you too lean as are you not lean enough.
Yeah, that's nice. So I'm just looking at a couple of her bits that she made.
It is a lovely routine though. I like how it all flows together.
See, for me, I personally, again, I like, this is not me picking, this is just like where my eye goes to. Like, I would like to see during her curls like start a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit lower.
Yeah.
Again, it's tiny bitty details.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think like being specific as well, like as we say, when we do your back pose, ideally you want your hair to stop at your shortest, at the smallest part of your waist, to emphasize how small your waist is. So hers could like probably be like a touch bit longer with some extensions to accentuate the waist as well. And this is also the problem with curly hair, is that you can see from the back, because her hair is quite voluminous, it does cover a lot of her rear delts, whereas if her hair was straighter, it probably would reveal kind of more of that area, and you can see more of the hourglass shape. Because if she goes into the back pose here and she flicks it off, like it covers pretty much, they can see, can't see anything here, just a little bit here. So she's probably leaving something on the table that she could have been showing off to the judges.
Crazy. So good as well with her. Like, I think people don't sometimes appreciate, especially with pros like Esther, she had to compete so much last year to get to the Olympia. Like, she kept just missing out. She was getting second, then third, then second, then third, and then fourth, and then second. Like, so the fact that she was able to hold on to this physique for all of last year, do Olympia, and then come back so early on in the season to then win the pro show in April. Jesus, how many people do you actually know could do that? Like, mentally and physically, that is so tough. So massive credit to her for doing that, because it's so difficult. And it's going to be cool to see, obviously now what she does after this, I don't know whether she'll just take massive time off now, but now she's got that Olympia invite, it could allow her to potentially, do that off season, a bit of an off season, and then come back at the end of the year.
Yeah, because she probably hasn't been off prep for like over a year now. So now she'll have the time to reverse out of it, take a break, have some rest, and come back even better. Because she won't be as tired, because her physique doesn't look tired. But I presume it has been such a long time that she probably, like, the rest will do her good, I would say.
So cool. Right, should we go into second place? Nora.
Yeah.
From Finland. She's worn blue quite a few times, and I do love her in blue. I think she's got such a bubbly look.
I don't know why I can't. Did she not post a video yet?
It's like a cat cut vibe.
Yeah, I can't make any assessments here.
Me with like her, I do the way her hair sits. I think that's
hair is absolutely lovely. Like, if I was going to go, like, I did straight only for all my seasons all my shows last season. But if I was going to go for curly, I go for that just really soft waves, because it just flows so nicely. It's like more glamorous and relaxed, I think. And I think for the super tight curls, it can be a bit much sometimes.
We come out and go on to that other photo, that one. Yeah, she's so nice. I love the way that her hair sits.
Her tan is gorgeous as well. It's really, really smooth looking.
Yeah. Even. Is there any physique shots that we can look into at all?
What's that? I won't even let me post.
Yeah, she doesn't post that many, does she?
Why is she not posting? I think she'd be shouting it from the rooftops. Anyway,
she kept it quite quiet this show. I didn't see her posting or anything.
No, yeah, she didn't seem to have posted about it much at all. She just showed up. But she can see that she's following that kind of guideline that Jazz has said about kind of the breaking up the blue bikini with the holes in the earrings. Makes it kind of all flow a bit nicer, so it's not just too much and too blocky, because the blue can be quite blocky on its own. And she's wearing like one of the Lottie style bracelets as well. Yeah, she looked great. I can't say hard to look at physique stuff, but I honestly think she looks spot on. So I haven't got much else. Overall look was gorgeous. Like, just the look in terms of how she pulled everything together with her hair, her makeup, her tan, her jewelry. It all flowed really well, nicely together. Definitely. Right, so really last but not least, going to third, which was Lisa. Sorry. So yeah. Was that how much? Yeah, she got a pro card, I'm guessing, sometime 2021. Yeah, I can't. Oh yeah, I was like, oh, what's that? That's pinned. So when was this? Why is my internet not liking me today? No, I was just thinking, scroll down a little bit. How much has she posted? Jesus. Oh, look at her child. That's so cute. That's so good. Oh, how lovely. But if you look at her there, I think some people have already made comments about this, so I'm not going to say we're the first ones to mention it, but I think it's fair to say that, she's got a lot of density in those legs. Yeah, a lot of density. But even in her upper, like, look at her arms there and her delts. Like, she's very, very dense, very muscular. Like, more on the European style, obviously, of bikini, she'd be more suited to than the American style. Yeah, I do think a wellness conversation is worth having with her. Definitely. I always think as well as, like, I do understand, like, I always think as well, and I've said it before, that like your identity and your personal preference should follow your category and not just how your physique looks. But I always think, because I struggle so much to build muscle, that if someone's trying to shrink into a category, it makes me kind of sad, because I'm like, but you could grow into something and be something like bigger. How cool is that? So maybe she's someone who just loves bikini and wants to compete in bikini. But I suppose bikini to wellness isn't like a crazy transition in terms of the overall look and the beauty and the femininity of it. Whereas if you're moving into like women's physique or bodybuilding, that's a completely different thing. So yeah, potentially. But yeah, she did look amazing. Yeah, like, honestly, I would probably need to take a good 10 years off to do wellness. Yeah. And even then, I'd probably still look bikini. Yeah, I know. It's just like the shelf on that. You're like, that is absolutely mad. That's crazy. But yeah, I do like the red. Am I convinced on red 100%? I'd like to, I think, because I haven't seen her in any other colors. It'd be interesting to see her in
a couple of different other colors, but I do think red just looks absolutely beautiful on her as well. I don't know why, I feel like because I'm seeing her in red, I can really see the wellness in her.
That is literally what I was going to say. I was like, I think you're saying wellness because a lot of wellness obviously wears red, so you're kind of picturing her on a wellness lineup now.
It's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true. See her the shoes that she's got, that like band, that silver band over the front, that's a very, very like what I would call like an old school. You don't really see it that often these days. Like in my personal opinion, when I think about like the distracting eye element, like that's something, again, this is probably just me having that trained sort of eye. But yeah, you don't tend to see that band across the front of the shoes that often anymore. But I'd say that's more like a European thing. A couple of Americans wear that as well. But yeah, be interested to see. I don't know what she's doing after this. What she put anything on her story in terms of physique, anything else physique wise?
Seems to be
I love that she's like traveling. She's probably just in the UK. Like, do you know what? I'm just gonna live my best life and go. Oh my god, Natural History Museum. Oh
yeah. Oh, that's cute.
And guess when she's got like, again, she's like a mum as well. People just think, when I want someone mum, that's it. Like, just show.
And she can train at the gym. So if she can train at the gym, then you can train at the gym. So I was going to say as well, going back, I don't even know how to exit this now. What you said, that these are quite old school, they quite remind me of they weren't Diamante, but you remember Kerry's shoes that she wore for years that she wouldn't wear any other style, and they were kind of like, they had these plastic kind of ropes that went around her feet, and it was like an emergency because she couldn't find any other pair, and someone had to like post them to their pair to her because she wouldn't wear any other pair on stage except for them.
It was funny. I remember saying to her, I was like, you have a lot of explain to. She's like, what? And I was like, I have to stock these Chico 7s because back in the day when she was in the PCA days, she wore them, everyone else wanted to wear them. And then it's funny, like I think people realize actually this shoe isn't that great.
Very comfortable. No. Another thing I was going to ask you is, you said that like this Diamante strap was a bit distracting potentially. What is your thought now on the new trend of the back strap being Diamante? Because I've also, not only have I seen it Diamante, I've seen it in different colored Diamantes as well.
I hate being that person, but like it does depend. I think where you potentially fall trap into if it's a Diamante connector, is that you can't adjust it. It is what it is. If you need it tighter or need it looser, you've got no choice. There was a girl at the regional actually that had a Diamante connector and it kept falling down. You got to think about the weight of that Diamante connector is more heavy than a fabric one, so it's got the risk of it falling down and not fitting you properly. So if it's done well, yes, but I don't know, I'm not like 100% set on yes or no my answer, but what I will say is if your measurements have got to be spot on around your all around your waist to make sure that you don't have the risk of it falling down, because I say you can't adjust the Diamante connector. It is what it is. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it can look really pretty. I'm not sure about the colored ones, because for me, I would like just a single row of like plain Diamantes. It can look really nice. My other concern is like, don't give yourself another potential thing that can snap if you can help it. Especially like, as you're saying, if it doesn't really fit someone, if it's too tight, or if they're trying to like pull it around themselves and they don't have someone else to help them fasten it, that could easily snap. Whereas with, when you're attaching things around your neck and kind of around your bottoms, you're kind of more hoisting them up and not like pulling them around, if you get me. So I think it could be another potential thing where, if you want to make show day as stress-free as possible, like try and limit the amount of things that can break. I think
I can see it. I could probably see it long term, maybe more in the wellness category more than bikini. I don't know, but when I think about it from, is it necessary? Does it enhance the physique? Or does it distract? My personal view is that it could distract, but as I say, it can still work. If someone is going for a Diamante connector, then I would kind of say to them, right, if that's the Diamante connector, then you might need to bring down the Diamantes in your shoes or refine your jewelry selection. You can always kind of pull back and forth with whatever choice you go with, whether it's hair, makeup, jewelry, shoes, whatever. But as I say, it's all just refinement and bringing it in the possible way. But I totally agree with you in terms of, if you are a first-time competitor or something like that, I would personally stay away from it, just for the time being, until you kind of get into the groove.
Yeah, these are all about the as we say, the refinements that once you've established your look, you can kind of play around with these things. But if you're like a beginner competitor, I would say play it safe as much as possible, because it's going to be stressful enough as a first timer without having to worry about all these additional things to try and get the edge. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to matter to the judging. It's just more about how confident you are with your look on stage. But the judges aren't going to care about whether you have a diamante strap or not.
I just thought as well, Holly, what if it bloody snaps?
That's literally what I just said.
My brain just really thought about that and gone, oh my God, what would you
Talked about that for 5 minutes.
I know, but what would you, my head was kind of playing the idea of like, oh my God, what would what would you actually do?
You're screwed. Like, unless you have a spare bikini, you won't be able to sew it back on.
Or you just make sure you take a backup connected, but that's just hassle. Yeah, just don't.
That is the path. Or you just go on stage like holding it.
Just put loads of bikini by and be like, absolutely,
like a stick-on bra.
So true.
Or you can make like, no, you couldn't. Never mind. I was gonna say you can make a hole to your neck. You'll still need the back strap for that.
Oh, love it. Right, I think we've pretty much wrapped up everything.
Yeah, I think we had a good overview of the winners, the looks, the pro card winner, the pro show, our recommendations and advice and opinions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I think it is like a little bit of a different take. I know lots of people these days are doing kind of post-show breakdowns and stuff like that, and I absolutely love watching them, but it is interesting to have a perspective from obviously the KOMPAK side of things, the tanning side of things, because Jasmin is obviously involved in the tanning as well, and then from a physique and training perspective. And obviously we are both competitors. I'm in off season, Jazz is in prep. It's good to kind of have that whole spectrum to come together and provide our opinions. So hopefully you guys find it useful.
100%. But yeah, if you guys are not involved already, don't forget we've got Physique Collective, we've got the app, we've got Instagram. Make sure you follow, sign up to the portal. We've also got KOMPAK as well. So yeah, just let us know in the comments what your thoughts were, what you kind of want to see in future. And we kind of mentioned as well, didn't we, that like potentially we might start to do a couple more like rundowns, but look across all shows as well, not to give you just the NPC, to look at everything in its totality.
Yeah. You know us, we like to experiment, and we do many federations, so we don't want to just like limit it to Two Rows or IFBB. We'd like to go into the other federations as well, because we've done them too and we enjoy them as well. So it's good to give competitors an overview, because as we say, not everyone is competing for a pro card, not everyone necessarily wants to do IFBB, so we want to have a safe space for them to be able to explore and learn as well.
100%. Yeah, thanks guys, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.